attempting to send this through to YouTube. YouTube needs to broadcast now. That's our hopes and dreams. We sure hope that YouTube's going to become active very soon. To get through the quarantine protocols, all of the back-end foundation digitizing. We are copying the information. We are having a title that is too long. We are uploading a thumbnail. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear us? We are pulling up the chat soon. We are working our way back to you, love, with a burning love inside. All right, we have our information. We have our window. We're opening that window. Can we see the chat? We can see the chat. Fantastic. We are getting the live stream up and running. While we finish our preparations, if you've got a place to share this chat, this live stream, share it around. Testing, testing, testing. Vend-a-Friend Chapter 2. Vend-a-Friend Chapter 2. Hello, polar regions. We hear you loud and clear. We are getting ready. We have a chat. We have information. We have a guest. All right, we are going on screen in 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Hey there, Foundation staff. This is Level 2 researcher TheeSherm, 1 week into quarantine. You can call me Sherm, I guess. God help me. But this is another Anomalous broadcast from Site 42. For those of you unfamiliar with our show, the rundown goes like this. Number 1, I read you an SCP document. B, I open up the floor to the community to discuss what we've read. We're often visited by SCP authors, staff, and fans. And if we're lucky, the author of the article themselves shows up to share some insight. Remember that if you would like to join the conversation yourself, you can join us on Get Vocals app during the show and get on camera and discuss and read with us. And we'll also be monitoring the YouTube and Get Vocal text chats. Also remember that if you enjoy the show, leave a like and a comment to let us know. Subscribe and hit the bell. And if you really want to help us out, become a patron at patreon.com/site42. Oh, and bonus today. We're all in quarantine for a week. This is special. So I'm laying it down right now. This is the bet. If this video today, this live stream gets 30 likes, I want 30 likes. If that number hits 30 or above, then Site 42 will release an extra video this week. Insanity Major's telling me my mic sucks again. In nicer words, I use the words because I'm mad at myself. I don't understand why my microphone is having this problem. Everything is hooked up properly. This is very frustrating. I am sorry, everyone. I hope it rights itself because sometimes it just does that. But yes, long story short, 30 likes, I will upload an extra video this week from me and Synthetic Aliens backlog of extra videos. Until then, tonight by request from Insanity Major, we are doing the Tale series Vend-a-Friend by Darkstuff. This is Chapter 2 tonight, and Darkstuff is with us again tonight. So he will now jump on screen dramatically. Hoo-ah!
Wah! I have jumped on screen dramatically. Hello.
Welcome, buddy. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing really, really well, despite the circumstances. Or in some ways, because of them, because I have so much free time that I can use to work on all of my writing. So.
There's a lot to say about the fact that we're all just now hoping for artists to bail us out, man. The game makers, the filmmakers, everyone, like the writers. It's just like, man, we need something to do. Help us, artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's gonna be weird. It's a very weird side effect of the quarantine. But I think that we can all expect there to be like a huge boom in just art because people will have nothing better to do. So people are going to be making so many things right now.
This is a hello to Caleb McFarland in the chat who said hello. And also Polar Regions. Who is he? Who is he, is Darkstuff. Darkstuff, the author of tonight's article, or tale.
Hello.
The entire tale series.
Yes.
And so before we get into chapter 2, which is called To Think I've Spent My Whole Life Waiting, do you have any lead-in for tonight's story?
Very briefly, I think that every time I remember this story that I wrote, I always forget how fast the pacing is, which is because it originally was intended to be 5 chapters long and then became 15 chapters long. So the first 5 chapters you could read and then stop, and it's like a completed story. And so I don't know. It moves faster than I have it in my memory, and I think that by the end of this chapter, you will be like, "This is going somewhere I did not expect at all." Hopefully, that is what will be imparted.
And as a quick recap for everybody who hasn't checked out last week's video, so far, Brainy Brian has had his idea stolen by what's her name again?
Polly Gary Ashley.
Polly Gary Ashley stole the idea and called her out in the front of everybody, which is a big no. And so they had a very backroom meeting about that big no, and it became a big yike.
Uh-huh.
And so at that point, Brittany Bryan has been banished to the tourist trap.
On paid vacation.
Exactly. And so with all of our anomalous liquids ready to partake.
Have you rewatched the first video so you remember your voices for everyone?
Nope, I'm doing it live.
Okay. Honestly,
Also,
that would be really fun.
Polar Region, I'm glad your cat is a fan. I'm glad your cat is here for this. All right. Brainy Brian. John Mulaney, but actually a clown. Chapter 2. To think I've spent my whole life waiting. The house was massive and had well, it doesn't sound like a beautiful color scheme, but trust me, the dark brown and red were very artfully done. It would have made me happy if it weren't for the big face painted on the top. It felt like it was looking at me. I didn't like it at all. I climbed up the hill and out of the forest, up into the clearing around the house. The yellow pathway up to the house winded unnecessarily, but I followed it anyways because it was a charming detail. The flowers out front were bright purples and oranges and blues. Did anyone take care of them? Or was it another product? The ever-bright flowers or something like that? Nobody lived here, right? I walked out to the back porch, opened the chair, and pulled out the key hidden in there. This key let me get to the tourist trap from anywhere on Earth. Pretty cool, really. More important, though, was that it opened the door and let me in. Going through the back entrance, I walked into the upper middle class looking house. It smelled like freshly baked goods. It always smelled like freshly baked goods. I wondered if it always contained freshly baked goods. I began my search for such a bounty. I was right! There were fresh cinnamon buns in the oven. They smelled delicious. They tasted delicious. Were there more in the oven? Oh, there were! I had another batch of 4 before I realized my mistake. My stomach hurt like someone who had dropped a boulder into it from a great height. I didn't like being in the kitchen anymore, with its pink countertops and infinite cinnamon buns. What else was in this place? The living room had a great curved HD TV, a semicircular yellow couch, plenty of photos of the great times had in this place. Oh, wow! There was a tongue as a lass. There was tongue as a lass. She looked so young and pretty. And I think that was Mr. Ribbit. But back then, he wasn't Mr. anything. He was just Jack. Jack. Jack Rabbit Herring. He looked so average. He was neither portly, nor was he jolly. He looked a little uncomfortable, if anything. There were 8 other people I had never seen before huddled around in the picture, and all of them wore these skin-tight peppermint suits. A small golden plaque was hidden at the bottom of the image. Candy Catalyst Team Outing, February 1983. The Candy Catalysts? Whoa, one of these guys could have been my dad. I looked up and down for someone short with jet black hair. There were only 2 people who fit that description. Mom never showed me any pictures of Dad. Always was a little agitated about that. Stepping back, the entire wall was covered in Candy Catalyst memorabilia. There were annual department hockey games from 1989. Candy Catalyst won that year, with the publicity puppies coming in close second. That was the closest the puppies ever got to winning the hockey games. I had a few good pals in the public relations department, and I know it's sort of an inside joke that they always train the hardest and lose the worst. There it was, though. The big medal. It wasn't even inside of any sort of glass case. They filled it with peppermints. Was I allowed to take some? It probably replenished like the cinnamon buns. I stuffed my pockets with a couple dozen peppermints. What else was there? The entryway was at the front. The entryway at the front was phenomenal. It glittered with some rainbowy gemstone and reflected you in 1,000 different colors. There was a very ornate small wooden table for you to put shoes on, and under it was, wow! That was 3 tubs of Legos. I'd have to check that out later. There were the stairs to the second level. I think that my bedroom was up there. Well, there must be about 5, and I could pick whichever I wanted. Going up the stairs, I came up on a hallway with 7 doors, 3 on either side, and 1 at the very end. The 2 closest to the stairs were the boys' and girls' bathrooms. There was a small landing around the top of the staircase, and circling it was a door that led out onto the roof. Coming out onto the roof, I looked over the landscape of dense, extra-dimensional forest. It was funny to think how this didn't really exist anywhere. I wondered aloud to myself how tree seeds spread into the tourist trap's territory, or how small animals got here, when you had to say a mantra to get in but not to get out. Maybe all the magic just applied to people. I wouldn't know. Big skills like this weren't my forte. Even on the board game, I only ever designed individual cards. The huge, sprawling, hallucinatory landscapes were all the building bullies team, or the construction department. Everybody first assumes that the building bullies are both mean and menial. They aren't. They have been at the forefront of some of the Wondertainment's most impressive projects, including the house that I was in at the moment. They had found a way to woo the mister of the 3rd dimension. Is that right? They had found a way to woo the mister of the 3rd dimension. I wasn't wrong, it's just weird. And he would do whatever they told him to. I'm doing it one more time because I just like that line. I'm going to wait for it. I'm going to wait to come back. They had found a way to woo the mister of the 3rd dimension, and he would do whatever they told him to. This time, they told him to be 2 hours from anything, and so he obeyed. I had gotten up to the roof in time to watch the sunset. What time zone must I have been in? And it was astounding. The reds and oranges and pinks that faded into a long gradient of light to dark blue. The reds and oranges and pinks that faded into a long gradient of light to dark blue to black across the sky. The biggest stage light to grace the earth. Behold! The universe's electric heat lamp magnificence. Feel every day is a part of a long unending show, and you know what, little kid? You're the star. I was getting emotional. I needed to get off the roof. Turning around, I was startled half to death by a face I forgot about. It really was looking at me, I swear. Its pupils weren't painted there before. Inside, I leaned over the railing and stared down the stairwell, hoping that I wouldn't throw up. The cinnamon buns weren't helping. My head swam, and I suddenly got the feeling that I might tip over and fall. I sat down and leaned against the wall. My head hurt like heck. I live here. I needed help. I needed someone to help me. I needed to yell for someone to help me. Is anyone here? I thought I might have heard a response somewhere down under the house. Somewhere deep below the floorboards. Under the couch in the living room. Help me, please! I'm aching! Did you see the sun, kid? I began vomiting. All over the carpet, too. I wondered if this place self-cleaned. Could they do that? Oh gosh, if not, this was going to be terrible to clean up. Get me my pills, please. I need them. I need my pills. You see that big ball of gas and fire? Look at it. I started pulling myself up the stairs. I needed to get to my suitcase. I needed to get my prescription. It's circling you, kid. I'm on the stairs, please. Sir, please, I need help. I had to pause and... What? I had to pause and hold on to the railing, watching as more and more bile came out of my mouth and started dripping down the steps. And my teleprompter has gone rogue, so I need to pause for a moment. Because, oh God, my teleprompter's running away from me. No, stop. I can't read like this. Everything's wrong.
Doing great.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. And because I ruined everything for a moment, I'm going to find my place in the book again, and then I'm going to say hello to the chat and have a beverage. Brady Browning, your vomiting escapades are tiring. Okay, coming out of the roof. I've gotten up to the roof to watch the sunset. I leaned over the railing. Is anyone there? I'm aching. See the sun. Big ball of gas circling you, kid. I'm on the stairs. Okay, I'm on the stairs. That's where I'll go. Hey, buddy. How are you during this break?
Are you talking to me or the chat?
Well, I'm talking to you because you popped up on camera.
I'm thoroughly entertained at the moment.
Yes.
Although I can say your mic is very odd and has been basically all the previous times. Like the majority of the time I'm on this podcast, your mic acts up.
So,
which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is. So, number one, hello, Elegy. I'm glad you are here. Number two, greetings, Ryan the Scar. And Polar is still here. Awesome. And Insanity Major, it's a crime. There's still a little art of Brainy Brian in the world.
There is one piece of art of him on the hub, though, which is really, really well done by Mendelssohn, who I don't think I've seen around on the site in ages, but they make some good-ass art.
And now I'm just going to take one moment to rant and apologize to everybody. Yes, so I have a nice microphone, and I have cords, and a thing, and a thing, and a nice laptop, and I got all this expensive technology, and yet still, it makes this noise 1 out of 3 times. And I am so sorry I can't figure out why it's doing it, but I still will not stop, even if I am only partially successful.
It's probably a good philosophy.
It's funny because it never does this during any sort of recording I do for like the SCP videos. It's always perfect. It
only has streaming.
And I have never done a YouTube stream like directly from here to YouTube. I've always gone through Get Vocal. And so one of these days I need to test if it's Get Vocal to YouTube that makes it mad, or if I go directly to YouTube, it's something else. And I haven't figured it out yet. But one day. One day we will fix this problem. I think I just fixed the problem. Does it sound better now?
No.
Okay. Well, damn. I was hoping it was that one easy click and that I was just a moron, but nope, not my fault. Ha!
No.
All right. So we are back to get me my pills, please. I need them. I need my pills. We'll go from there. Ah. Or we won't. Why are you not working? Teleprompter. Okay. No, I got it. The play button doesn't work, but I can still do it from the forward button. So I'm just going to do this manually. God help me. Get me my pills. Please, I need them. I need my pills. You see that big ball of gas and fire? Look at it. I started pulling myself toward the stairs. I needed to get to my suitcase. I needed to get to my prescription. It's circling you, kid. I'm on the stairs, please. Sir, please, I need help. I had to pause and hold onto the railing, watching as more and more bile came out of my mouth and started dripping down the steps. Please, oh dear God, please. You're the star, Brian. I don't want to go back. Life's a show, kid. Please get me my pills. I don't want to go back. Please. Life's a show, and you're the star. I slipped on my own fluids and tumbled down the stairs. There was a loud thump as my jaw hit the post. Oh, that was the end of chapter 1 of chapter 2. Huzzah. On to chapter 2 of chapter 2. My stomach burned. My jaw felt like it was trying to make me a snake. A pitter-patter on the roof told me it was raining. I loved rain. The sound was calming. My neck was also bending and trying to make me serpentine. I must have banged my elbow because it was sore as well. My whole body was conspiring against me. There was rain here? How did clouds get in here? Did this exist on Earth? My knees could be doing better. I think I soiled my pants. They felt wet. That was embarrassing. Though it was pretty far down my leg. I want to go out and feel the rain on my skin. What else could have made my leg wet? It's lovely weather. Oh, wait. Barf. Oh, no. I must have eaten too many cinnamon buns. That's probably what it was. I ate myself sick, and I fell down the stairs. That's definitely what it was. Nothing to worry about. Oh my, I needed to brush my teeth and change my clothes. Actually, I needed to go take a shower. I really needed to go take a shower, but I also didn't want to move. I was pained. Moving was pain. Everything hurt, especially my head. My head hurt a lot. My brain. I was brainy Brian. And my brain hurt. Ow. Shower. Right. It was probably good to have hot water wash over me before going out into the rain. I needed to go do something in the rain. There wasn't much to do in the house from what I could tell. To its credit, it wasn't meant to be the attraction. It was meant to be 2 hours from any attraction. Big difference. How long had it been since I took a shower? It can't have been that long. I always kept a good face at work. No, I shouldn't have thought about work. That was a mistake. I should have just kept thinking about the rain. Morning routine. Back to my morning routine. I stepped out of the shower and stared at myself in the mirror. While I brush and floss my teeth, I stared at my naked mug and thought about how I could color it. The management told me I shouldn't paint my face before going out in public. This isn't Wonder World. You'll need to blend in. Blend in? If I blended in, then how would people know it's me? How would I maintain my signature brainy charm? Maybe they had a point, though. There were people who don't like weird things. And we always sort of had a love-hate relationship. However, I was not magic. My designs were. I should be fine. I mean, if I... what would it look like? Well, if I was going in public, I'd be confronted with people. I didn't feel like interacting with people. Oh, perfect! I could have been a mime! I wasn't supposed to, though. Oh, screw management! They can go sit on their high chairs and chew their big candy cigars and stop interfering with my life. I was my own man. I was going to be a mime, and that was that. It's a very loud mime. That's all I have to say. It would wordlessly communicate that I didn't want to talk with people. Yeah, it was perfect. Management could go shove it. Though it was raining outside, I would take an umbrella so my paint wouldn't run. There. Aha! I was beautiful. Black and white, I had a frowning facade and 2 black tear marks running down my face. I looked absolutely wonderful. The mask felt very fitting at that moment. I was ready to face the world. I could go anywhere. Literally, I could do that. Where would I go? I walked out of the bathroom, flicked off the light, and wait, no, there was something I had forgotten. Was that really my entire morning routine? I had taken a shower, used shampoo and conditioner, and wiped soap all up and down myself. I had brushed my teeth, flossed my teeth, applied deodorant. I dealed my hair in a way that I liked it, and I made myself a mime. There felt like there was something missing. Something important. I flicked the switch on again and surveyed the room. The bathroom was so big and colored this pretty white and gold. There was the sink. Was that it? That must have been it. I was worrying over nothing. I flicked off the light and moved out into the hallway. Oh, hey, I hadn't noticed, but this place really was self-cleaning. I had suspected as much. Where would I go to begin with? I didn't have that great of a grasp on the world. I pretty much grew up in Wonderworld. Where would I go? Well, I suppose I should start somewhere familiar. Start small and build up. I did know one place in this world, and I should go there. Should I try out the car sitting outside? I didn't even know where it was. I hadn't been able to finish my house tour yesterday. Had a full day passed? I decided I should just walk. I wanted to be out in the rain anyways. I grabbed a big rainbow umbrella out of the entryway and walked out into the world. Look at all that mud. Wonderful. I started down the driveway and held my arm out from below the umbrella. The rain felt good on my skin. Anyway, no more games. I closed my eyes while I walked and held my old neighborhood in my head. It's hard to read when you close your eyes. Chapter break.
Is really, really funny. I mean, it's just extremely entertaining hearing you do the voices and everything. I
am glad to hear that.
I'm debating. The last stream I had my camera on the whole time so that you could see me so that other people could see me grin and react. And I'm wondering if people want that, because I was deciding to turn off my camera so that you could have the full spotlight. But
I am going to go ahead and voice my opinion that your reactions are probably very helpful. I think you should stay
okay,
on the whole time.
all right, then I'm going to. I'll just mute myself because I have the chapter open in another window, and while you're reading it, I'm kind of reading through with you. Um, so
Which
that's
I
what
hope
I'm doing.
everyone else is doing, and also plus wanting the article if they enjoy it.
Thank you. Yes, people should do that. The first tale, the first chapter, is almost at plus 100. It's at plus 92.
Oh my
So,
god, that is why I'm going to take this chapter break to do two things. The
what?
first thing is going to be that I will go and make sure that I plus one that chapter because I should do that.
Thank you.
And while I confirm that I plus one that chapter, I also want to confirm that we are still looking for 30 likes on this video to make it so we have a second video this week. So if Site 42 fans want a second live video reading this week to deal with the quarantine doldrums, hit 30 likes on this video. Now Vend-a-Friend number 1 is 93. We are one step closer.
Yay!
And the hub is up to 95, because why not? It's a pretty hub.
Oh, nice. Thank you. It is kind of funny that the hub has more upvotes than any individual article in the series. Like, there have been people that have just been like, "This is a great series," and then haven't read it. I guess maybe question mark. I don't know.
I don't know how voting culture exactly is on the site. So it's like sometimes I will forget to upvote or downvote an article, or just like, sometimes I consciously go, okay, that was like enough that I'm not going to vote on this at all. But I
Hmm.
wonder how many times we just forget to vote on things that we have feelings about.
I know of myself that it's not very often, but I also know that of other people it can be common. Some people just don't think to vote. And everyone needs to vote. It's exactly like a democracy. If you aren't voting, either up or down, you're part of the problem. You need to vote.
More votes.
More votes.
All right. And with this video up to 7 likes, we are 25, slightly less than 25% of our way to the bonus video this week. And so we will keep this stream running. We are going to keep reading this story. And it is time for Chapter 2, Section 3. There it was. The old colorless houses and dirty gray street. My old stomping grounds. Or maybe not stomping. My old treading grounds. It was familiar to say the least. The sidewalks must have been fixed. They were much smoother than I remembered them. They didn't have all their signature cracks. However, the road was still pocked full of holes. I guess some things never change. I never knew my neighbors, so I guess I only had one place to go. I walked for a while, turned a corner, and saw my old white house. It really hadn't been repainted. White was such a boring color. I wondered what the living room looked like, or if the kitchen was as I left it, or maybe what my bedroom was like. Pardon. I really wanted to go in. Would anyone mind? There wasn't a car in the driveway, and all of the lights were off. I turned around and thought that the streets and nearby houses looked very empty as well. Nobody would mind. Was the front window lock still broken like I remembered? Yes, it was. I climbed in, careful to make sure I never got my face wet in the process. The last thing I wanted was for my face paint to run. Once I plopped into the kitchen, I stretched and felt at home. It was a long time since I really felt at home. I mean, Wonderworld trademark was my new home, and now Tourist Trap was my temporary home, and I didn't feel uncomfortable there. Well, I didn't feel uncomfortable at the Tourist Trap. I hadn't noticed that I didn't feel at home before, but it really came back to me as I stood in my kitchen. It really was the way I left it, untouched almost. The countertops were just as bland as always. The oven was still an ugly pastel green, and the TV could be seen from where you stood to wash the dishes. I had never seen my house from this angle. I was much smaller when I lived here. I moved in, I moved into the living room. It was covered in new pictures, pictures of whoever lived there now. They weren't as good as my family, as my mom. Nobody could live up to my mom. She was a wonderful mother. Nobody could say otherwise. Not my dad, not the neighbors, not anyone. Not even those jerks at Wonderworld trademark. Nobody. She did everything right all the way up to the end, and nobody could take that away from her. These pictures were inadequate. Mom was stunning. These people were bland. That was an unfair comparison. Everyone was bland in comparison. She shone like the full moon. I walked around to the bathroom. I almost opened the door, but I really didn't want to. Never liked the bathroom in that house. Always bothered me. I decided that it wasn't worth the nostalgia. Moving on, I looked up the stairs towards the master bedroom. Wasn't ever my bedroom. Didn't want to go up there either. Actually, I realized that I wasn't interested in any of the rooms, except one. I opened the door to my old bedroom. It had changed significantly since I last left it. It used to be blue, and now it's painted with a bright purple. There was a bunk bed where my single bed used to be. The top bunk was pink, the bottom sky blue. There wasn't my old bedside table or any of my book collections. I suddenly felt a very strong want for Dr. Seuss. They must have had those. This was a kid's bedroom. No kid's bedroom could survive without Dr. Seuss books. I began to search for the bookshelf next to the door, and sure enough, there one was. Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Did they have Dr. Seuss back at the Tourist Trap? I hadn't seen any. I might just take that back with me. I sat down on the lower bed, set down my umbrella, and began to read. You have brains in your head, and you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy who decide where to go. I sure was. I love these books. They were my childhood. I never imagined I'd be a part of Seuss's world eventually. That came as a mighty surprise. They found me on the streets, selling some little knickknacks I had made out of the trash in the alleyways. I was creative and bubbly and innocent. All the things they looked for. Of course, it helped that they were looking for me already. Everyone is just waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly kite, or waiting around for a Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the next big product, waiting for the next big project, waiting for that next promotion, the next holiday, the next hangout, that next breakthrough, waiting for the next night, then the next day, then the next whatever comes after that. Months, years, lifetimes, waiting to meet that one special person to settle down? What was I waiting for? I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win, because you'll play against you. There was a glimmer in that closet, between the slats in the closet door. What made that? Was it? It looked wet and shiny. It twitched and went away. Were those kids? Hello? There was definitely a rustling. I think I got a shh. Are you playing hide and seek? I got up off the bed and began towards the closet at a glacial pace. They seemed afraid. What of? What are you afraid of? I opened the closet door. I took a boot to the face. I got knocked back and caught myself on the wall. That was my jaw. Again. I resisted my jaw's urge to move sideways and held it in my hand. There was a girl, about half my size, who was holding two little girls behind her back. Two little kids behind her back. She was heaving and stared at me, still half in the closet. Oh, I'm sorry. I must seem weird. I know it's not typical for mimes to talk, but I'm not actually a mime. I'm just dressed up this way today. I am so sorry for the confusion. Can we be Another kick to the side sent me curled up on the floor. I had the wind knocked out of me and coughed, struggling to catch my breath. The girl was closer now and hovering over me. Those kids looked very scared. What was it? I told them I wasn't a mime. What could... I wasn't going to take your Dr. Seuss book. I was just looking at it. I used to live here, you know. This is where I grew up. I slept in that bed. Ugh. She kicked me in the navel, and saliva spewed out of my mouth. I felt some bile coming up. Oh no, I had boffed enough yesterday. I couldn't boff again. I could get stomach problems. What was our issue? I wasn't stealing. Oh my, is that blood? And I wasn't a talking mime. What else could there be? I looked up at her and saw her angry. She was getting ready to kick me again. Her phone was in her right hand, and the children's hands were in her other. They looked terrified. They were silently frightened. It couldn't have been me. It must have been they were scared of her. She reeled her leg back, but it never hit me. I didn't know I could hit people that hard. She was sprawled out on the ground. I had hit her right in the temple, and it sent her into the wall and then knocked her to the floor. She wasn't moving. The kids were safe. Was she hurting you? Did she harm you? What did she do? The kids only cried, and suddenly the room was very loud. Tears streamed down their cheeks, and their mouths were agape in wet yelling. It's okay, she's gone. I'll give her a stern talking to when she wakes up. And what was that noise? I had been ignoring the sirens in the distance because you got used to that when living in an urban environment. But they got close, stopped, and then there was a loud bang in the other room. More of them? More of her? I leaned down and put my arms around the children. Another couple bangs. Those were doors. Those were doors getting knocked down. I sweat. What could I do? I fumbled around my pockets for the key back to the house, back to the tourist trap. These kids were in danger. I didn't know why, but something bad was happening here. I found the key. We have been wanting to travel the world, and though we cannot find you on any map, bang, a bang. You promised some haven to us boys and girls. We know you exist. Bang, bang, bang. A massive muscular man blew the door open with his shoulder and pointed a gun at me. Freeze! You're the tourist trap! A hole opened up below the kids and I, and I heard a loud pow. Ah! A bullet caught me in the ankle while I fell down the rabbit hole. 2 kids under my arms. All right, Brian.
Thoughts? I want to hear your thoughts.
It was only, let me find out the exact moment I realized we were kidnapping children today. The exact moment that I realized we were kidnapping children today. Kids only cried. Room was only very loud. Tears streamed. It's okay. She's gone. It was no. It was. Let's see. I didn't know I could hit people that hard. That was a dark moment.
Yeah.
I felt that change. She really leg back, but it never hit me. I didn't know I could hit people that hard. Oh, fuck. And then she wasn't moving. The kids were safe. Was she? As soon as I said, "Was she hurting you? Did she harm you?" I was like, "Oh no." And then as soon as and then what was that noise? I was like, "Oh, we're about to steal these kids." Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I had. Oh my god, this has been so much fun listening to you experience this story. Because it goes off the deep end really quick, honestly. But you wouldn't expect it from the first chapter, I think. I think that the first chapter is really quite whimsical and tame.
Yeah, the first chapter was just like, there was an accusation and there was a meeting and there was stuff and it was dramatic, but it wasn't this Dresden Files action-packed shit's going down all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I may, I'm very happy when reading back over this, the quotation from the Dr. Seuss poem, "I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, games you can't win because you'll play against you." And that, I like that as like a foreshadowing thingy-majig narrative device just put in the story.
I am very much looking forward to how that thematically plays, because I had a feeling that had to mean something, and it doesn't mean anything super yet, but I can already tell, like, with everything about like the original bit, Brian isn't self-assured. Brian isn't where he's going. All the places he'll go is exactly for him. And then this last little bit, I'm just like, oh, 4 lines. I know that this is coming later.
Yeah. Also, I fell down the rabbit hole just because rabbit hole is always such an evocative line since Alice in Wonderland was a thing. And so ending the tale that way, as if to say, like, things are going to get weirder from here on out.
I was wondering why it was specifically a rabbit hole. Wonderful.
Yeah, man.
We have a question from the chat. Insanity Major wants to ask if this character was intentionally made to look if this character intentionally made to make Brainy look like SCP-1810 Mr. Perot, because I thought that was turning into his origin during my first read.
Whoa. No, I don't think I've ever read SCP-1810. 1 second. I can't, of course, read it all right now, but let me just kind of peruse it.
Take a quick skim.
Oh. No, I have read this. Although I don't remember everything about it. What is it? Covered entirely in chocolate craft, no new material. Anomalous properties manifest when it comes within 500 meters of children who it deems lost. SCP-1810 will take them into its care and will attempt to provide for their needs and wants. However, there seems to be some disconnect in 1810's understanding of the child's needs. Ah. It will often resort to
Oh,
violent methods and theft to provide for the children and shows a preternatural level of strength when it comes to protecting them or tending to their needs. I understand the parallel,
wow.
although that wasn't what I was going after at all. But
I I absolutely love this wiki for the random shit we all write and how the parallels come despite
yeah,
never having even read each other.
yep, it's a weird website. Although maybe I should read that SCP and see if I can't work it into something. It's not Brainy Brian. Brainy Brian does not turn into that. I have an idea for how he eventually ends up because okay, here's a little thing. So Vend-a-Friend turned into a canon that I have now called What a One or yes, it's called What a Wonderful World. For some reason, my brain was like, is it It's a Wonderful World? No, it's What a Wonderful World. Um, because after Vend-a-Friend came out, it was popular enough, and I was like, oh my god, I enjoyed writing in this world so much. I just want to continue writing for it. Uh, that it's now its own canon, and canons are usually, in my opinion, they're about creating a world that people can write in, and not so much about creating one long ongoing story. But seeing as I write the majority of the canon and other people, there's like a timeline of events that you shouldn't read because it's kind of a spoiler. But there's a timeline of events that basically allows people to put tales in that fit into like certain things that haven't been written about yet. So when people add their own stories, it's usually like in chronological order, like something that happens. So I've been thinking of the canon as like this really big long story. And even though I don't want to write from the perspective of Brainy Brian in the future, because that like his central story is done, um, I do have ideas for like how he plays as a character in this big, big story that I want to write, of which Vend-a-Friend is like one part. So
And I mean, in worst case scenario, he could always have an evil twin brother.
that becomes SCP-1810. What? Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to you doing the rest, honestly. I am so thoroughly entertained by you reading this.
These are a good solid hour each. They're a perfect size for a live stream, and they are so fucking entertaining.
yeah,
Like,
was hoping they would be. They're really, really fun. That was like the main thing that I felt while writing Vend-a-Friend was just how entertaining it was to write from such a strange perspective, strange skewed perspective as Brainy has on the world.
I had never hit anybody that hard before. Oh,
Uh,
that is a wham line both in trope terms and in like wham because you hit somebody.
yes. Elegy is asking, I find some interesting parallels with the Cool War series of tales now that I'm thinking about it with Vend-a-Friend. Have you read the Cool War Darkstuff? Yes, I have, although I think I read it after writing Vend-a-Friend, and I'm not entirely sure what parallels you are seeing, so please enlighten me. The Cool War, by the way, is amazing. And if you finish Vend-a-Friend and you're like, man, I need to have another series that I'm doing, you should absolutely read Cool War.
I first of all like Vend-a-Friend. From my perspective, outside of this, Vend-a-Friend and Cool War are both those legendary things on the site that you've heard about, and you're like, man, I've got to read those because they're there and they're apparently so good.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Vend-a-Friend is apparently lumped into that for you because Cool War is so much more highly rated. I mean, the first chapter of Vend-a-Friend hasn't even made plus 100. I think, don't quote me on this, I'm going to find out right now, but I think that Cool War um, has plus 200 on the first tale, if not more.
Whew.
Yeah,
I
it's
I do recall an attempt to read Cool War, like not for the channel, just like before I even had a YouTube channel, just like kind of trying to read it. And life gets in the way, stuff like that. I didn't keep up here or there.
mm-hmm.
So if I'm going into Cool War again, I'm still going in just as fresh as I did for Vend-a-Friend.
Please do. Also, it was even bigger than I expected. The first chapter of Cool War is plus 466. Like, Jesus.
Completely ignoring their medications and vital plot moments coming from that. To say more would probably be spoilers for both series, but that's what I noticed at first.
Send me. You're a friend of mine on Discord, Elegy. Send me more parallels because I'm interested. Although they can't be said in front of Sherm.
Spoilers. But can you give Insanity Major in the YouTube chat a quick, spoiler-free tagline description of the Cool War?
Oh, tagline description of the Cool War. Oh, that's difficult. Maybe let me look at the first chapter and see what.
Because while you're doing that, I will just say that all I recall is that it's obviously an "Are we cool yet?" thing, and I
Yes,
remember
it is about
Ruiz
Are We Cool
Deschamps.
Yet? Yes. The Cool War. Oh my god, it's been so long that I can't fully remember the story because, in honesty, the ending of it started to not make a lot of sense to me. But what it is that the art. So, some site context. Are We Cool Yet is like an anomalous art movement, right? It's like people making magic art. Well, there are people who are making it instead of just a movement, like a group. And Ruiz Duchamp is of the opinion that making it organized is getting rid of the appeal of it being an art movement in the first place. And so he's against the establishment, and how that evolves is the story. Right? That's mostly right, Elegy? It's been so long since I've read it.
It's hard for me in my brain because every time I want to say they're an artist, it's also it's anomalous art, but Ruiz is like an anarchist an artist.
Yes, and I think that duplicitous meaning of anarchist is intentional. I think it's supposed to sound like anarchist because they're un-artist, anomalous artist, and also an anarchist.
Elegy in the Vent vocal chat points out that's pretty much right. There's also a bunch of fucky stuff with a bunch of groups of interest, but that's somewhat later in the story.
Yeah, I was just like Vend-a-Friend, which can be described as two co-workers have a dispute which lands one in paid vacation. My description of Ruiz Duchamp is unhappy with the establishment of turning an art movement into a group. Both of them spiral into much bigger, stranger things. But that is how it starts. And really the best sell that you can have on reading it, like the whole thing, is not a tagline, but reading the first chapter. If you enjoy the way that the main character thinks and acts and talks, you'll enjoy the rest of the series. Because Ruiz Duchamp is like a famously entertaining character on the site. People love him. So, what's the YouTube chat look like now? Anything new? Because I'm not on it.
That's the end of the YouTube chat. Insanity Major now understands what we're getting at and says that they will probably read it tomorrow, which you have time. We're all in quarantine.
Yeah, do it. Just read the whole thing. It's actually, the Cool War word count wise is shorter than Vend-a-Friend. So if you've read Vend-a-Friend, you can read Cool War.
Nice.
Although it has a good number more chapters. It's just that those chapters are pretty short. Let me see. So Vend-a-Friend has 15 chapters. Cool War has 23 chapters. And okay, here's something. I think I did read Cool War first. I think I did because of this. One of the reasons I made Vend-a-Friend in the first place was because I was unhappy with the representation of Dr. Wondertainment on the site. I really didn't like practically any of the canons that people had of it. And the most famous one, the most common one, is the one written about by Randomini, who is the same guy who made the Cool War. And in the Cool War, Dr. Wondertainment, Elegy was just saying that there's some fucky stuff that happens with GOIs. Well, Dr. Wondertainment shows up, and a character from Dr. Wondertainment, no spoilers, is a major player in the events that unfold. And so through that, I read about that interpretation of Wondertainment. And The Cool War, amazing series, totally worth reading. I hate what their Wondertainment is. And that's, yet again, that's nothing against the Cool War. In fact, within the Cool War, the Wondertainment that they put forth totally works as a plot element and like how it just works in with the rest of everything. But as like a wider canon of Dr. Wondertainment to be followed by other writers on the site, I was really unhappy with it. And a lot of people latched onto it. That was also compounded with Jorix. I never know how to pronounce his name. Djoric. He wrote a story called one second. It's called The Adventures in Capitalism, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, another one that I've sure heard of, but have not read yet.
Yeah, so he wrote The Adventures in Capitalism, which is about Dr. Wondertainment. It's an unfinished series that's from the perspective of Dr. Wondertainment. And that Wondertainment is the one that the one in the Cool War is based on. I don't actually know which came first, but I'm pretty sure. And that's an even deeper dive into that style of Wondertainment. And I don't even enjoy The Adventures in Capitalism just because I really dislike their Wondertainment. Yet again, I'm not trying to say that anyone shouldn't like it or that the authors were bad, which is just not true. I love Dioric. He's written one of my favorite articles on the site, period. But just those Wondertainments, man, I really didn't like them.
As a final note for tonight's stream, because this last topic of conversation is laid on this, without spoiling the rest of Vend-a-Friend for me, so I don't know what I'm getting into. Can you give me a summary of the differences between the Wondertainments?
Oh, yes, I can tell you actually just what it is about the other Wondertainment that I really didn't like, and I can just tell you that that's not how my Wondertainment is, and you won't have anything spoiled.
Sweet.
So the original Wondertainment was, there was this idea. Have you heard of the Scarlet King?
Have I?
What?
It's a big enough wiki that I thought that was a sarcastic response because obviously everyone's heard of it, but there's probably people who haven't heard of it.
Yeah, there's just so much lore. So I was just wondering, have you heard of the Scarlet King? Probably.
Okay, yeah. Actually, my most popular video on the channel is an explanation of 231 and all of its backlash because a lot of creepers wrote really unsettling things about what Montauk was, and it upset everyone.
Yeah. So in some people's canons, the Scarlet King has an opposite, which is called the Wondermaker. And the Wondermaker, so the Scarlet King is supposed to be the embodiment of chaos and destruction. The Wondermaker is supposed to be the embodiment of order and creativity. So creation, destruction. And so the Wondermaker is just as ancient a being, and the Wondermaker is basically responsible. for humanity's innovation and what have you. And now I don't know why this happened, but the Scarlet King has always remained just the Scarlet King, and the Wonder Maker has been like it's in the cycle of reincarnation. And in the in the Adventures in Capitalism, and thus the Cool War, because basically they're the same. The Dr. Wondertainment, or in this case, Isabel Parvati the Fifth or the Fourth, I'm not sure, is the reincarnation of the Wonder Maker. And this is kind of a spoiler for the Adventures in Capitalism, which, while it was an unfinished series, Durick came back to the site and wrote like a half finishing of it just to be like, see, this is a closed series. It's quite rushed and it's very different in tone, but it outlines what would have happened had he written the whole series in a fun, shorter fashion. So, I mean, leave the stream and go read that if you want. No spoilers. But basically, the Scarlet King comes back, tries to create an apocalypse, and the Wonder Maker, i.e. Isabel, goes and kills the Scarlet King. And also, this happens after Dr. Wondertainment as a company like goes under. It just gets destroyed. And something about how important that made Dr. Wondertainment feel rubbed me the wrong way, because at their core, at least from my perspective, what they're about is being a company that makes toys. And so having them be like a major player in an apocalypse, like being the savior of everyone, felt really bloated. And so I just really didn't like it. I really
It's
didn't
almost
like
like we only have
super important.
It's only like we only have so much lore on this site, and so they just took what we had and shoehorned it in for a reference.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda.
Not that bad. Not that bad, but it's like, here's what we have. Let's make this the series finale, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And I just like, I don't know. My Dr. Wondertainment is not the reincarnation of the Wonder Maker. Let's put it that way. My Dr. Wondertainment company makes toys. And actually that is reflected in the name of the first tale of that ever showcased this Dr. Wondertainment, called We Just Make Toys.
We just make toys.
Yeah.
Guys, we have one job.
That is what they do. And
now I'm going all back to this because like 2 years ago I had a series on the channel that was sort of like SCP Declassified.
Mm-hmm.
Videos about the research.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at every single article related to the Scarlet King to make a What is the Scarlet King Declassified video.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at every single story that included Wondertainment to do a What is Dr. Wondertainment. And it's so hard because this wiki, nothing makes sense because there's no canon.
Yep. Yeah.
And so when I remember getting to Isabel Parvati and getting to Vend-a-Friend and going,
they don't mix.
And then getting the Scarlet King and being like, oh, here's Isabel Parvati slaying the Scarlet King. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah, and here's another thing that I really disliked about Dr. Wondertainment. Now, some people were okay with the fact that like Dr. Wondertainment is supposed to have like a dark side sometimes, which, I mean, I wrote Vend-a-Friend, and this is clearly going down a path, so it's not like I'm getting rid of dark things happening in relation to Dr. Wondertainment, but the Little Misters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was that a yes? That's a yes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Well, the Little Misters, if you recall, are literally humans. They're people that they are making and then selling. And that's like extremely morally deplorable in my humble opinion. I know it's a hot take, that you're apparently not supposed to do human trafficking. But
Hey, we're not here to debate politics.
yeah, I don't want to bring up controversial subjects such as whether you're allowed to sell people or not. But that's like a very clearly deplorable moral act, is making artificial intelligence, because they're kind of implied to be toys, and then selling them. And so my Wondertainment also does not sell people. That's another thing that I made my Wondertainment not do.
Ooh.
Yeah. I will say, the little misters exist, but they don't exist in the same way. And I'm not going to say how they exist.
Oh. Oh. What?
Mhm.
What?
Woo!
You've got my interest.
It comes up very briefly in Vend-a-Friend, but isn't a plot point. It's just kind of like a background detail. But you'll still hear about it, so I don't want to spoil it yet.
I look forward to spotting that and going, oh shit, not again.
It's the little misters. Okay. I think that I have to go have dinner with my family.
That is a perfect time to sign us off. Go ahead and say goodbye to the audience.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Elegy, I see, is here. Goodbye. Insanity Major. Goodbye. There was somebody who had an ice related name.
Polar regions.
Polar Regions. Who else? Who else should I say goodbye to? Who else is here?
In my YouTube chat, Polar regions and Sandy Major, Polar regions, Sandy Major. Daru's here, or Danu.
Goodbye, Danu.
Peter is here.
Goodbye, Peter.
Josh Workman is here.
Goodbye, Josh Workman.
And Ryan the Scar.
Goodbye, the Scar.
Oh,
All
and
right.
Caleb McFarland.
Oh, and goodbye, Caleb. Okay, bye, and
Goodbye,
bye,
Dark
Sherman.
Stuff.
Bye.
What a good... Chris Moore, you just got here. I'm so sorry that you reached here at the end of the stream. That makes up for all the... That's been going on here.
Chris. Goodbye, Chris.
So, we have read an hour of Vend-a-Friend Chapter 2. We have discussed with Darkstuff the background of Dr. Wondertainment and the Scarlet King for some reason. And now we have reached the end of the stream. Notice that we have currently 9 likes on the channel. If we get 30 likes on the video, then we will release an extra SCP this week from the live readings we're doing for Season 6. So make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Become a patron. Help us because we are in quarantine and we don't have a job right now and we need all the help we can get to keep making videos and live streams. So God, please help us. Pray to God and whiskey. Thank you guys for coming. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. See you guys in the next video. Now we're going to Scooby-Doo, sign off.